Okay, now we're recording. So let's answer that question again about the unique structure of your team.
Yeah, so usually when you look at a branch, you don't get everything that you would normally get with a corporation, right? You don't get the localized stuff like a business development person that can help you with your marketing, that can help you with flyers, that can help you with ideas, that can help you with events. You don't get an assistant that's not controlled by corporate. You don't get a processor that's not controlled by corporate. And you sure don't get an underwriter that's not controlled by corporate. The way our system is set up, everything is inside of this office. Everything is controlled by my office. So the assistants are controlled by my office, meaning that we can, make sure that things are moving along like they're supposed to. We're not relying on a bigger conglomerate to do that. Same thing with processing, same thing with underwriting. And then the other thing that we do, because we have an underwriter that's dedicated to our office, we pre underwrite every file. So when we get an application for a purchase, the next day it's being underwritten and we have conditions back. By the time that person finds a house, we should have most of the conditions cleared, and all that we're waiting on then is the inspections and the appraisal and the title.
I think this is huge and such an opportunity for LOs to market this to realtors. So, out of curiosity, what type of marketing materials, things have you guys put together that again describe because it is very unique.
Yeah, so our whole thing is because we're pre-underwriting everything, we call ourselves the home of the 12-day close. So
Oh
you
wow.
can actually, you can actually get out there and start marketing home of the 12-day close because as long as, usually between the time you get an application and the time they find a house is a minimum of a week. Well, if we've got a week, in that week, we're getting, all of their income verified and we're getting verifications of employment. We're getting whatever asset verification we need to get. We're getting everything so that all we're waiting on, like I said earlier, is the appraisal and the title and whatever inspections they have to do. Those don't normally take more than 12 days, which is why we call it the home of the 12-day close. Marketing that to an agent, now that doesn't necessarily mean they have to close in 12 days because usually a seller's not ready. But how comfortable is it for an agent to know that the package is sitting there 18 days before the contract expires versus the day before the contract expires, hoping and praying that it's going to close?
Yeah, and you're located physically in Alabama, but you're licensed in quite a few states. So you're looking to be able to offer this in other states as well, correct?
No, absolutely. And I mean, what we control here locally. So even though, like when somebody may think, oh, well, you're in Alabama, so it'd still be like corporate. No, it's like literally, I'm right here. All you got to do is like we are right now. Get me on a video. Let's talk through whatever it is. I'll walk over and make sure the loan moves like it's supposed to move. We have a pipeline. That's one thing I left off earlier. We even have a pipeline manager that's going to follow the loan all the way through to make sure nothing gets skipped, nothing gets missed. So, I mean, it's no matter where you are, it's your local operation staff is literally right there for you, and every one of them picks up the phone. You have a scenario? Call the underwriter, she'll answer it for you. You need something in processing handled right away? Call the processor, she'll answer the phone and handle it for you. Same with the assistant, same with me. I mean, I've got 27 years of experience, so when you run into a problem on a file, you've got me to reach out to that's probably looked at I won't say every scenario, but I've looked at a lot of scenarios and can figure out how to make loans work that may be tricky along the way, or maybe you run into a bump along the way that we need to figure out how to get around. That's what I'm here for is to help you get through that.
Well, so this sounds like it's going to be expensive to the LO. What does this cost to the LO?
Well, it is expensive. It's a whole zero. It's what we do. I mean, it's just our goal is to help LOs be successful. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, our entire the way that our office is set up is to help we really want to help LOs eventually if they want to. Hey, let's grow our business. And if we want to leave the nest and do it ourselves, we've got the model on how to do it. If we want to stay here and remain in the family, we can do that too. But our goal is to help them be successful. As long as they're successful, then we're successful. And that's what matters. Internal growth to me is a lot more important than external growth. If I can
Mhm.
help what I've currently got get one, two, three more deals a month, well, their lives are better. The branch runs better. Everything is better. So that's our goal is for them to grow. And I don't want to charge them for that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep. So if an LO were to join your team today,
Mhm.
what disappears from their week that used to eat their time?
Well, they're not gonna I mean, a lot of times you're having to follow up with your loans like every 5 minutes to figure out where they are. You're gonna get updates, so you're gonna know where your loans are. If your agent calls you, you're gonna automatically know. You're not gonna have to make 5 phone calls. You're not gonna have to wait for somebody to call you back. You're not gonna have to send 3 emails and wait on those to come back. It's gonna open that up. You already know what's going on your file before you even get a contract, so you're not sitting there dealing with your loan the whole way. You're out getting more business. It's probably from what I've heard from the loan officers we currently have, it frees up about 50% of what they used to do. So now they
Wow.
have 50% more time to go out and get more business. Or for those that, they're getting, okay, I want to close X amount and I'm closing X amount. I'm happy with where I am. Well, guess what? You just freed up time to spend with your family to spend on other things. So you're able to close the same amount or more in less time, which gives you more time for what we're all here for to live life.
Yep. No, I love it. So what's the objection you hear most from LOs before they join? And what actually happens once they're 3 months in?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we hear is what would make you different? You're not in my town. You're not local to me. I'm also not corporate. I don't have 80 people running around here telling me what we do and don't need to do. I control every piece of it so I can if a loan is like an emergency, I can move that into the front. I don't have to ask anybody to do that. If I need to get something processed today, if they say, "Hey, the person's only available today to do the verification of employment," I can make that call and make it happen versus when you deal with corporate, and which is what a lot of loan officers are used to, you're kind of at their mercy. And sometimes that can take a day, 2 days, 3 days to get done. So the biggest objection is they think that we're going to be like corporate, but we're the exact opposite. We are
Mhm.
it is exactly like we're in your backyard. And again, I can get on the phone with you like this and we can walk through it face to face or we can talk through it on the phone, whatever works.
Awesome. Um, who thrives on your team and who wouldn't be a fit?
So the person that thrives on my team is the person that they understand the beginning is the most important part of the loan, most important part of the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Get the right documentation, make sure that what you're approving is actually an approvable loan. And then if you have to be called upon to help, like somebody's not responding, you pick up the phone and make that 1 or 2 calls that you have to make. That's the person that thrives on the team. The person that doesn't is the old, what's the old adage? Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just throwing loans into a pile and saying, "Hey, you guys fix this." That's not really honestly, that person's not gonna thrive in most systems because you need to make sure you've got a makeable deal or you're gonna run into problems along the way. The other person that would not thrive is the person that if the processor does call and say, "Hey, called your client for 3 days now and they're not returning the call," the loan officer doesn't return the call either. That usually isn't somebody that would thrive, but anybody that's willing to do just a little bit of work on the back end and is willing to grab, and we're not talking about much. The front end is get your paycheck stubs or your tax returns, get your W-2s, and get as much in assets as you can. Make
Mhm.
sure it's a doable loan. Make sure you've got a complete application.
Mhm.
Make sure you've got a 2-year job history and that kind of thing. If those aren't big things and they don't take a lot of time. If you do that on the front, that loan officer will thrive and do extremely well with our process.
Well, and again, with having your own dedicated underwriter on your team as a scenario desk, there really shouldn't be any excuse for not picking up the phone and having a conversation to see if it's even a doable deal.
No, and everybody that's on our staff knows that the phone is the most important piece of equipment that they have, and they know they need to pick it up if it rings. And
Mhm.
what you'll see from me, well, you've seen it because you've called me. If I don't answer the phone, you receive a text that says, "I'll call you in 5 minutes." And within 5 minutes, I'm calling you back.
Yeah. I love the humanization part. I think, AI and chat bots and all that, maybe have some space somewhere. But I think at the end of the day, we all still just need to have conversations that are live with real people.
100%. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of fun with AI, especially with marketing videos and stuff like that, but in the end, if you have a conversation with you're talking about somebody's biggest purchase of their life,
Right.
right? So, it's well worth your time to have a 3-minute conversation and make sure everything we're doing is the best it can be for both the client and for you
Hmm.
and for the realtor and everybody else involved in the deal. So, we're not talking about long conversations, but phone calls are un, unfortunately we've gotten away from phone calls and gotten to a lot of text, but phone calls and voice calls or video calls like this are they're
Yeah.
huge.
And even emails, hiding behind emails,
Right.
when you're going to have a follow-up question and then it takes, another 3 hours and it just, very slowly
Well,
goes
and
by.
unfortunately, when you start typing, people interpret your typing as though that's what you mean. And maybe it is, maybe it's not. When you're doing voice and you have a phone call or you have a video call, it's easier to understand this is what they need, this is what they mean, and this is what will accomplish what I need to. Otherwise, you may interpret a email one way and you spend all day doing something and it wasn't at all what you needed to do because you misunderstood what they were asking.
Um, Tell me about one LO whose business looks completely different, than before they joined your team.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got one LO in particular that when he came to our team, he was averaging a deal a month, just one. And within a couple months, he was averaging three, and now he's at about five. And the reason being, when he was doing one, he was with a company that when he got there, they said, "Oh, we'll help you with this, that, and the other." And in reality, he was processing his own files, having to stay in his files, not able to get out. And on top of that, not using the business development that they didn't have that we do. When he got here, we were able to help him get into a real estate office to where he's now the primary loan officer for that office. It's a small boutique office. We were able to help him package his loans correctly up front, taking 30 or 45 minutes up front versus spending 10 hours on the backside,
Mhm.
which gave him all sorts of time to get out there. And suddenly, he went from one, like I said, one to three quickly and three to five over in the next couple months. So anybody can do that. It's just whether or not you're really going to. And with the marketing that we can do, my business development partner Brian, with the marketing that he can do, I mean, he can help drive business immediately to any loan officer that wants help with it.
Let's talk about the marketing a bit. I'd be curious, to know more, about the type of help that he's able to provide for the team.
Yeah, so it's whatever they need. So we work with CRMs, we do drip campaigns. I mean, he handles all that. But in addition to that, it's, hey, what do you need to be successful? Ask agents what they need. And once you find out what the agent needs, come back to us and we'll fill that need. Do they need help with open houses? Do you want to do an event that has a whole bunch of agents at it? I mean, we just did a shrimp boil here locally, and
Oh, fun.
we had over 300 agents at the shrimp boil
Over
for our
300?
yeah, for our local loan officers. We were at a brewery and
Wow.
it was great. But we can show a loan officer how to do that and not pay a penny for it. That we had a $5,000 bar tab, but it didn't cost us a thing because we got people to sponsor and help us along the way. It just depends on what they need. Some just need little things like, hey, if I could just get some flyers and get them in front of people, that would be great. Okay, perfect. Hey, I want to get in this real estate office. How can I get in here? Well, we've got classes that we can get them that we teach real estate agents, anything from database management to AI to actually we have one how to throw an open house and make sure at least 20 people show up because how
Oh,
often is
that's
it to have
cool.
that charcuterie board sitting there that never gets touched? But there's classes, all sorts of classes we can help them get in and either do meetings or actually get into that office and kind of take it over.
So, if you had an LO that wants to do this, but is a little bit nervous about being the presenter, are you willing to travel to other markets to visit your LOs to help?
Absolutely. We've traveled and we've done them via video. So like
Oh, okay.
when we do social media and branding, a lot of times the LO will be like, really, you don't have to come here because everything's online anyway that you're showing. But if they want us to be there, yeah, we show up.
I love it. Um, let's see. Most of the questions that I had, are there any other, thoughts, things that we haven't talked about, that you'd like to share for someone who is potentially considering a change and with all of the options and the shiny objects?
Don't chase the shiny object. That's that's the biggest thing I could tell anybody is don't chase the shiny object. I've been a loan officer for 27 years. I know what loan officers want and need.
Mhm.
And so we built a system to fulfill those needs. And that's what you need to pay attention to as a loan officer that's even thinking about making a change is what's going to make my life easier and better. Is it going to be a process? Is it going to be, I mean, some loan officers think it's going to be this great big check that some companies are willing to give. Well,
Mm.
those come with a cost. Our process doesn't, and our process will get you more loans, which will make you more money in the long run than any check would ever be. So the biggest thing I can tell anybody, again, don't chase the shiny object. Look at what's going to make your life better, and as soon as you find it, go for it.
Home of the 12-day close. I
Home of the
like it.
12-day close.
You need a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or a ball cap.
Don't think they're not on their way.
Oh,
So
really? I love it. I love it. I mean, think about an LO walking around with that 12-day close. What are you
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
You walk into a realtor meeting, home of the 12-day close, and initially you get yeah whatever, and then you put your proof in the pudding, and yeah, it's impressive.
No, I love it. Well, great. Well, I think I have what I need. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, you think? I mean, I think we covered a lot.
No, I think we got it. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think this is great. Like I said, I'll reach out to Devin and talk with him and figure out, the best way to chunk this up and get it out there. So,
okay, perfect.
okay. Well, let me know how it goes with Wesley.
I definitely will.
Okay,
All
cool.
right,
Thanks,
talk to you
Scott.
soon. All right,
Bye
bye.
bye.